It's time to hit the road and discover Texas with Annie Studebaker. Get ready to travel deep into the heart of the Lone Star State, meeting friendly folks and exploring fascinating places. Experience a way of life like nowhere else in the world as we uncover the rich history and culture of Texas. Discover adventure, discover excitement, discover Texas with Annie Studebaker.
After a long day's work, there's nothing like coming home to your own backyard pond. With the sunset reflecting off the water, the ducks gliding across sparkling waves, it's like living a dream. But a dream like this takes a lot of care and attention. You can't just dig a trench, fill it with water, and expect magic to happen. A pond is a living, breathing ecosystem, and a big part of that is these guys. Fish. There are so many different types of fish to choose from for so many different reasons. But even after you decide on the fish you want to stock your pond with, the bigger question is, where do you get them? To answer that, we turn to John and Kathy Herman, owners of Herman's Fish Farm in Robstown, Texas. Herman's Fish Farm has been providing fish to South Texas for over 20 years. More than that, they handle almost every aspect of pond management, from algae control to aeration. We sat down with John to learn more.
The way I started, I was probably 7 or 8 years old, just fishing at a nearby lake, public lake. We had a cabin there and I liked it, so my dad built a pond behind our house on his farm and started raising fish in this one pond, produced food-sized catfish, and just started selling fish fillets to individuals or Lions clubs and things like that. So did that for several years, built a few more ponds, did that through college. I would come home for summers and spring break and Christmas break and harvest, and when I was gone, my dad would feed them for me, and then when I would come home I would harvest them and fillet them and sell them. Then when I graduated from college, I had a couple of regular jobs and that wasn't really my calling. So I started fish farming full time and just by myself. And I switched the business into I started targeting recreation, and that's when we got into the stocking business, where we started raising minnows and bluegills and red ears and bass and catfish and all different kind of fish, and it's slowly just grown. I mean, we add a couple of new ponds every year, and it's not a huge business, but 9 people work here. We have a couple other fish biologists that work here.
One of these dedicated workers has known John a little longer than everyone else. Meet Kathy Herman.
I'm Kathy Herman. I'm the mother of John Herman, and this is our family business. This is our office. This is where all the orders come in. The phone rings and we take the orders and we record it. And then Kathy Wimberly is my assistant, and she helps me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's a good business. We enjoy it. We're family oriented. My husband is also included in the business, and he's kind of like our general flunky. He keeps everything running. He keeps whatever breaks down. He just has a real aptitude for if it's lights or wheels or motor or tractor or car or truck, whatever it is. He has that aptitude to fix it. And like I said, I'm the mother. I kind of run the office, and then I have a daughter-in-law named Lacey, and she works part-time, and she helps me with the invoices. It's a great business. We've been here 20 years, and it started out slow with my son getting out of school, and he kind of was on his own for a while. And then we just kind of developed with parents and then wife, and now we're getting the grandkids involved, and they come and, well, the young one that's 6, he swims in the pools full of fish. The other 2 tend to work a little bit, but not him. Anyway, it's been fun. We've been blessed.
It's a full service. We don't just sell the fish, we help you manage your pond. If you have a problem, you can call us, or if you have a problem, you can hire us and we'll come out. I mean, we can come out and do a survey with an electrofishing boat. We can go out and, this morning we had a customer that was losing fish. Luckily he lived close to us, so we went out with an oxygen meter and was able to tell it was oxygen. And we're able to get an aerator in there quickly. We can spray weeds or algae, or we can just make the pond look pretty. We have a lot of homeowners associations that we're on a monthly retainer with, where we go once a month almost like a swimming pool guy, but we're the pond guy. And we go by and they're not as interested in fish. They're a little bit interested in fish, but they're more interested in just the look of the pond. They want it to look nice and clean and pretty. So we do that as well.
When we return, John and Kathy will give us a tour of the family fish farm. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hold on to your hat. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Herman's Fish Farm. When we started on the farm tour, I had no idea what I'd be in for. So in my mind, I pictured these rectangular vats and with a little net. You got you. I was wrong.
We'll go to that later.
How many ponds do y'all have here?
I think we have 28 here, and then we have 8 on another, we call it our satellite farm. And then we have a few ponds that we're in partners with. So about 40 or so.
Wow, I had no idea you had so many. This is neat. So I imagine each pond is for a different species, right?
That's correct.
And
we have 10 or 12 different species. We have a lot of bait fish species like minnows, bluegills, red ears, shad, and then we have game species, largemouth bass, catfish, crappie. And then we also we have a couple of species like redfish, which are saltwater, which we don't raise, but we buy them from saltwater farms and we acclimate them to freshwater and resell them.
okay.
And hybrid striped bass, which is a cross between a saltwater fish and a freshwater fish. So a lot of the fish are raised here and a lot of the fish are trucked in from other places. Since we're raising several different species, and since in the spring is spawning time, most of your different species spawn in the spring. So we're just preparing this pond for spring spawn. So we'll dry them out in the fall and over the winter. That way, if there's any wild fish or any disease or anything, it'll be a nice, clean, sterile pond to start out with. In the spring, we'll fill it up with clean well water.
Wow, so
And then we'll put the brood fish in.
Ah.
Sometimes we just let them wild spawn, leave the brood fish in, and let them spawn in the pond, and then remove the brood fish after that, and then grow the fry and grow them up to fingerlings. Or sometimes we'll actually get the eggs out of the pond, and take them inside and hatch them inside.
Wow, that's so interesting.
So we're constantly changing crops and changing ponds, draining, refilling, and that sort of thing.
Huh. So how often, like every so many years, you have to replace the water?
We'll probably use a pond for 2 or 3 years, and then we'll
Have to drain it.
Completely get all the fish completely, start over.
Huh.
So, some species spawn all spring and summer and fall. A lot of your forage species are bait fish. Like your minnows, bluegills, tilapia especially. They spawn almost continuous.
Huh.
But your game species usually just spawn one time a year. When the temperature and day length and all that get right, they spawn.
And when he has fry in the barn, somebody has to feed him about 3 times a day of powder. And so he's always like, I've got to leave. Who are going to feed me?
We also, since we have this land here fenced in, we also raise show cattle for 4-H kids, which that's what you see there. These have all had babies, and then my kids show them, and we sell show steers for
wow.
4-H and FFA students.
That's
And then we also
great.
have heavy equipment, and we also build ponds for people. We haven't always done that, but since we need the equipment here just to maintain our farm, so sometimes we'll do a job for somebody else where we'll build them a pond.
Wow.
So, but our main bread and butter is the producing fish.
And I imagine the cows drink this water, right? Because they
Oh, yeah.
they do ours too.
They keep everything mowed and
That's
drink
the
water.
good part. That's
Yeah.
why you really want to have cattle here
Yeah.
too.
We have cattle on the other places too, but a lot of times John will bring them here to calves so
Yeah.
we can watch them a little closer.
Yes. Oh, how nice. This
So
is
they're setting the net up right now. This is called seining.
Yeah.
There's weights on the bottom which keep it on bottom and floats on top. So he's just making sure it's all straight. Of course, we use a little tractor with a hydraulic reel, and it rolls that 200-foot net. I used to pull it by hand, but it's hard on your back, and I'm getting old, so now we do it mainly with machines.
okay.
So we'll start at one end. These ponds are
Oh,
like,
and they're going to end up over here.
yeah. It'll
Okay,
just,
so
we'll sweep the whole pond. It's
okay, so
they're
right
like-
now they're about to seine.
seine, yes.
Okay, I said it right.
Like harvest.
Like harvest.
Fish still get around it. I mean, fish still figure out how to get under it or over it. But,
Yeah. But you get the majority.
you
Yeah.
do, yeah.
When they pull the nets this way, it takes 2 tractors.
One tractor and one ATV
Okay.
or whatever. Just take
two vehicles to pull.
And we
Interesting.
seldom do we ever take all the fish. We hardly ever sell the entire crop all at once. It's usually we take a portion of them and release the rest until the next order comes in.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course. Yes. So right now.
I mean, eventually we'll sell them all, but
yes.
there might be 100,000 fish in there, and you usually don't get an order that big. So
Right. So this is how it works.
yeah.
The seine definitely makes things a lot easier. It brings the fish to the shore where they're easily scooped up into nets and placed into a grading box. The grading box works great. It allows you to collect fish that are of a certain length. The smaller fish slip back into the pond to grow a little while longer. For the bigger fish, it's back into the nets where they're taken to a truck waiting nearby.
That's 4 tip net, I guess. That's 4. 4.
All right, y'all need to get
The truck is equipped with oxygenated, temperature-controlled tanks. They try to keep every species in its own tank, but every now and then, somebody sneaks in. The fish can survive in there for quite a while. For now, they'll only be heading over to the barn. When we return, we'll be joining them there, so stay tuned.
Hold on to your hat. We'll be right back.
After the live fish are collected from the pond, they're taken into the barn. They're scooped out of the tanks and put into large storage vats for an overnight stay. In the morning, they'll go back into the trucks for their final destination, a new pond they will call home.
So tomorrow we have a big feed store fish sale.
Yeah, that'll be to put them in the bags
So-
for individual orders,
Yeah,
correct?
so
Yes.
everything will be in clean, clear water in vats by the end of the day. And in the morning, just dip them up. You don't even have to get muddy.
Okay.
Put them on the truck, go to our destination, and then we start packaging them up for people to take home.
Awesome.
So we do that, and then we do direct ranch or farm or pond deliveries, directly to you.
When the subject of stocking a pond comes up, people's minds tend to go straight to the game fish.
They eat other fish.
Yeah, we have bass on the farm.
Yeah. So those are largemouth bass. And for the sportsman, that's the most popular game fish. As far as fishing with artificial lures.
There are plenty of other game fish to choose from. Catfish are a great catch, and they grow quickly. They are scavengers, so they'll eat almost anything. And with their pulling power and stamina, they make fishing a fun sport. Crappie is considered by many to be one of the tastiest freshwater fish. They're also the most popular game fish among anglers. Copper-nosed bluegill is a game fish that's gaining popularity. They're a little smaller than others, but they put up a fight. This game fish is also very tasty. No matter which game fish you prefer, you've got to keep in mind what they're going to eat, and that's where forage fish come into play.
These are fathead minnows.
Oh, wow.
And
These are the fathead.
Yeah, they're prolific spawners, and they feed. Their main purpose in a private pond is to feed the bigger fish. They feed larger bluegill. These fish really don't get much bigger than the size they are now. They only live about 18 months.
Minnows come in different varieties. Look at these rosy reds. Golden shiners are another member of the minnow family. They're largely known as bait fish, but they're ideal for foraging as they reproduce quickly and often. A way to really grow your largemouth bass is by stocking your pond with these protein-packed crawfish. A lot of pond owners looking for weed control consider nature's underwater lawnmower the grass carp, but they're a little too good at their job and can quickly get out of control. Triploid grass carp are sterile, but still require a permit by the state. Tilapia pull triple duty. Not only are they great at keeping algae levels down, but they also serve as good forage fish for bass, and they do even better on the dinner table.
And when we take an order, we record it as a species, minnows or shiners or crappie or whatever. And then whenever that fish is going out the door, we get the invoices ready and then we put it on the appropriate truck. And we talk to them beforehand and let them know what's going out on that truck.
Herman's Fish Farm does direct deliveries, but they also make special deliveries to farm and ranch stores for customer pickup.
We call those feed store fish sales, and the reason why we do it is to get closer to the customer. And it's anywhere from small orders up to large orders, and it's so that we can service is up to 100 customers in one day.
We enjoy it. We're family oriented, have lots of friends that are fish customers over the years. We've been doing it for 20 years and they've become like our family too. So when we're on that phone, we're not only talking about fish, we're talking about their families too.
What they do is they call in advance. We advertise and we notify them, either direct mail or email or something, letting them know when we're going to be there, what we're going to have, how much they cost, all that, all that information. And then they call and place their orders. And then a few days before the day we're going to be there, we go to the ponds and seine the fish and bring them, however many we need. We bring them inside our holding facility. And then the day of the sale, we load them on trucks and take them to the sale. And then the customers come. We have the transport bags, which are plastic bags. We have the water and the oxygen in the bags. And they load them in an empty ice chest or tubs or some type of container so they don't get, punctured. And then they're good in those bags for 2 or 3 hours. So they have time. We try to go to the Rio Grande Valley, or we try to go to San Antonio area or Laredo area. We cover all of South Texas, even Southwest Texas. And we have probably 6 locations that are proven to work well, and we go to those locations 2 or 3 times a year. Those are our feed store fish sales.
Through their expert advice, I was able to pick up my fish and stock my pond within minutes. The Hermans are such a wonderful family, and they have a top-notch business. If you have a pond in need of fish or any other service, be sure to give them a call. You'll be glad you did. I'm Annie Studebaker. Thanks for joining me as we discover Texas together.